It's Mother's Day weekend and my second wedding of the year for Shifting Blooms is booked. So today is Friday. We are gonna start making all of those bouquets. We also have to set a little bit aside for cake flowers, and the bride also wants some flat lays and stuff, so a few extra flowers for her photographer. Thankfully, on one hand, this wedding is a little bit easier. Most of the flowers I've chosen, the stems don't really need cleaning or like much cleaning, so that's definitely been a time saving. Also, everything that's come from afar, because of course I just don't have blooms right now. I have like one single solitary anemone. So everything came in much better condition than it did in February. But to be fair, it's not -30 right now. So I just want to go collect a few twigs just from around the property because the leaves are just starting to bud. I think it'll look really beautiful and fresh in those bouquets and maybe even in some of the boutonnieres. So let's grab a few of those and then we'll get moving. Probably gonna sound really silly, but I cannot tell you how good it felt to take that shot of me filling up the water bucket. And it's like, oh, we're back. Like the season is actually gonna start and it makes me really, really excited. Okay, so let's talk color scheme. The bride's dress is cream, bridesmaids are navy, and I think groomsmen are navy/gray as well. We were going for like a white, light pink, bit of blue, but we couldn't get exactly what we wanted because this is a Mother's Day weekend. When I put in the order at the wholesaler, I immediately got a message back saying, you know what, we can't do all of these things. We had to make a bunch of substitutions. This is not exactly the bouquet I had in my mind, but I think it's gonna work out and be lovely even so. And the good thing is the bride is not super picky. She likes to joke with me that, Kristen, I could have dandelions at my wedding and I would be happy. That takes a lot of the pressure off. I've also got my little bucket full of water, so as I'm making these bouquets, I can just kind of like cast off the little pieces, save them all in here so that when I go to make all those little boutonnieres, I'm not like scrambling for stuff. I think I'm going to start with a bridesmaid bouquet this time, just to sort of get warmed up. Then I'll probably do the brides and then the rest of the bridesmaids, saving boutonnieres for last. Okay, first one done. Pretty happy with how it turned out. This is sort of an odd angle, trust me. It looks much better when it's held, but all right, let's get on to that bride's. All right, bride's bouquet done. So pretty, so springy. I think she'll be really, really pleased with it. I always feel like the boutonnieres never really get any love. You know, the bouquet is always the glory thing, and the boutonniere is sort of like, yeah, the groom needs something too, right? So I always try to make everybody's boutonniere a little bit special. I also like to make everybody's boutonniere a little different. So like the mom's boutonniere is not going to look the same as like the groomsman, and I don't know, I mean, you probably shouldn't make those the same anyway, but I always just like to feel like everybody has a little special look that day. If you're also a flower farmer who does weddings and you're watching my channel, if there's one piece of advice that I would love for you to take away from this video, it's take your own photos. Obviously, the photographer's photos are going to be much nicer, but it's not always possible to get those photos from the photographer. I just have a white dress. It's not even perfect, but it gets the idea across. And whatever we do, we always want to be able to have some way of promoting our own work. Morning, friends. So morning of the wedding, everything went pretty well last night. Unfortunately, I didn't quite get everything done before the girls had to come back from daycare, so it was a bit of a scramble and frustration to try and finish those boutonnieres. We got it done. So this morning all I have to do is still kind of pre-do some of the flowers for the cake, and then later on I'll have to go and arrange the cake table and stuff and pluck those flowers in. But I figure if I do a couple of sprigs now, that'll make that job a lot easier. I should also mention I'm a guest at this wedding. This is for my cousin, so I'm definitely doing more things for this wedding than I would do for a normal wedding. She's my cousin and I'm pretty close to her, so totally willing to do it. Anyway, let's get making some of those cake flowers. The nice thing about these little cake flower sprigs is that they don't really have to be perfect, because I'm going to be putting in some eucalyptus as well, maybe the odd pink carnation, and these are just to make it go faster. So like with the boutonnieres, I'm always making sure that like it's really done up and it's going to be perfect. These ones, not nearly as much pressure. So it's currently raining, of course, but the nice thing is I can put all my plants out and they can get some of this amazing rain. So as a gardener, I am so thankful for this rain. We have desperately needed it, especially after last year's drought. However, as a person going to a wedding who has small children and rarely ever curls my hair, I'm a little sad. This hair is not lasting, but oh well, much rather have the rain than perfect hair. So thankfully the wedding went off without a hitch. It was really fun, really sweet, and really emotional, but there was no rest for the wicked because it was time to do that cake. So the wedding is over and the greenhouse is back to its normal state. My first tulips are almost in bloom, so that means that Shifting Blooms is almost back in business. So what's up for this year? Well, first I have a market at the end of May. It's the first time I've ever done a market, so we'll see how it goes. And I'm so thankful with those tulips that I'm actually going to have some flowers. We're really busy trying to plant as much as possible. Anything that's like any tiny bit cold tolerant, in it goes, because we have a huge garden this year, and with that huge garden comes a huge amount of harvest, huge gigs. I'm probably going to have 11 weddings now this year. My in-person backyard business course is actually live now. So if you're interested in joining me on my acreage near Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, I will post a link about that in the description. And if you're able to come, it'll be so exciting to have you there. So look forward to a lot more backyard business episodes, as well as my regular content on cold climate gardening here in my Zones 3 Saskatchewan garden. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.